When I was a teenager, I was very influenced by a book called The Seven Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey. And sometime after that, Stephen Covey's son, Sean Covey, wrote a book called The Seven Habits of Highly Effective Teens. And I literally fell in love with this book. I mean, even the cover has like a pair of blue jeans. It just felt very relatable. And the book is filled with nice little cartoony figures, and it's a much more accessible, relatable book, even than Stephen Covey's book, because it's full of examples of teenagers and the challenges that they face. So I remember carrying that book with me a lot and reading it repeatedly. So today I'd like to read you some stories and examples from this book, which has been very close to my heart. In fact, when people ask me, what book I would recommend for a teenager, I think this would be in the top 5. The book is called Seven Habits of Highly Effective Teens. So I'm going to read from page 164. Let's say you go into a shoe store to buy a new pair of shoes. The sales clerk asks, "What kind of shoes are you looking for?" "Well, I'm looking for something that..." "I think I know just what you'd like," he interrupts. "Everyone is wearing these. Trust me." He rushes off and comes back with the ugliest pair of shoes you've ever seen. "Take a look at these babies," he says. "But I really don't like them." "Everyone likes them. They're the hottest things going around right now." "I'm looking for something different. I promise you, you'll love them. But Listen, I've been selling shoes for 10 years. I know a good shoe when I see it." After an experience like this, would you ever want to go to that shoe store again? Definitely not. You can't trust people who give you solutions before they understand what your needs are. But did you know that we often do the same thing when we communicate? "Hey Melissa, how's it going? You look really depressed. Is something the matter?" You wouldn't understand Colleen. You'd think it was stupid. "No, I wouldn't. Tell me what's going on. I'm all ears." "Oh, I don't know." "Come on, you can tell me." "Well, okay. Things just aren't the same between Bill and me anymore." "I told you not to get involved with him. I just knew this would happen." "Bill is not the problem. Listen, Melissa, if I were you, I'd just forget about him and move on." "But Colleen, that's not how I feel." "Believe me, I know how you feel. I went through the same thing last year. Don't you remember? It practically ruined my entire year." "Just forget it, Colleen." "Melissa, I'm only trying to help. I really want to understand. Now go on, tell me how you feel." It is our tendency to want to sweep out of the sky like Superman and solve everyone's problems before we even understand what the problem is. We just don't listen. As the Native American proverb goes, "Listen, or thy tongue will make thee deaf." The key to communication and having power and influence with people can be summed up in one sentence. Seek first to understand, then to be understood. In other words, listen first, talk second. If you can learn this simple habit to see things from another's point of view before sharing your own, a whole new world of understanding will be opened up to you. Now, why is this habit the key to communication? It's because the deepest need of the human heart is to be understood. Everyone wants to be respected and valued for who they are. A unique, one-of-a-kind, never to be cloned, at least for now, individual. People will not expose the softness inside them unless they feel genuine love and understanding. Once they feel it, however, they will tell you more then you may want to hear. The following story about a girl with an eating disorder shows the power of understanding. I was a full-blown anorexic. Anorexia is an eating disorder. I was a full-blown anorexic by the time I met Julie, Pam, and Lena, my roommates in my first year of college. I had spent my last 2 years of high school concentrating on exercising, dieting, and triumphing in every ounce I lost. At 18 years old and 5 feet 8 inches, I weighed only 95 pounds. That's about 43 kgs. I was a tall pile of bones. I didn't have many friends. Constant deprivation had left me irritable, bitter, and so tired I couldn't carry on casual conversations. School social events were out of the question too. I didn't feel like I had anything in common with any of the kids I knew. A handful of loyal friends really stuck it out with me and tried to help, but I tuned out their preachy lectures about my weight, and I inwardly decided they were just jealous of me. My parents bribed me with new wardrobes. They badgered me and demanded that I eat in front of them. When I wouldn't, they dragged me off to a series of doctors, therapists, and specialists. I was miserable and convinced my whole life was going to be that way. Then I moved to attend college. The luck of the draw settled me into a dormitory with Julie, Pam, and Lena, the 3 girls who made my life worth living again. We lived in a tiny apartment where all my strange eating patterns and exercising neuroses were right out in the open. I know they must have thought I looked strange, with my shallow complexion, bruises, thinning hair, jutting hips, and collarbones. In fact, when I see pictures of myself at 18, I'm horrified at how terrible I looked. But they weren't. They did not treat me like a person with a problem. There were no lectures, no force feeding, no gossiping, no browbeating. I almost didn't know what to do. Almost immediately, I felt like one of them, except that I didn't eat. We attended classes together, found jobs, jogged in the evenings, watched television, and hung out on Saturdays. My anorexia, for once, was not the central topic. Instead, we spent long nights discussing our families, our ambitions, our uncertainties. I was absolutely amazed by our similarities. For the first time in literally years, I felt understood. I felt like someone had taken the time to understand me as a person, instead of always trying to fix my problem first. To these 3 girls, I wasn't an anorexic needing treatment. I was just the 4th girl. As my sense of belonging grew, I began to watch them. They were happy, attractive, smart, and sometimes they would eat cookie dough right out of the bowl. If I had so much in common with them, why couldn't I eat 3 meals a day as well? You see, Pam, Julie, and Lena never told me how to heal myself. They showed me every day. And they really worked to understand me before trying to cure me. By the end of my first semester in college, they were setting a place for me at dinner. And I felt welcome. Think of the influence these 3 girls had on the 4th girl, because they tried to understand her instead of judging her. Isn't it interesting that once she felt understood and not judged, she immediately dropped her defenses and was open to their influence? Contrast that with what might have happened had her roommates turned preachy on her. Have you ever heard the saying, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care? How true it is. Think about a situation when someone did not take the time to understand or listen to you. Were you open to what they had to say? While playing college football, I developed some severe arm pain in my bicep for a time. It was a complex condition, and I had tried a number of different techniques to fix it: ice, heat, massage, lifting weights, and anti-inflammatory pills. But nothing worked. So I went to see one of our more experienced athletic trainers for help. Before I had described my condition, however, he said to me, "Oh, I've seen this thing before. This is what you need to do." I tried to explain more, but he was already convinced that he knew the problem. I felt like saying, "Wait a minute, hear me out, doc. I don't think you understand." As you might have guessed, his techniques actually made my arm hurt worse. He never listened, and I never felt understood. I lost confidence in his advice and avoided him at all costs whenever I had an injury. I had no faith in his prescriptions because he never diagnosed. I didn't care how much he knew because he hadn't shown me that he cared. You can show you care by simply taking time to listen without judging and without giving advice. The following poem captures how badly people just want to be listened to. Please listen. When I ask you to listen and you start giving me advice, you have not done what I asked. When I ask you to listen to me and you begin to tell me why I should not feel that way, you are trampling on my feelings. When I ask you to listen to me and you feel you have to do something to solve my problem, you have failed me, strange as it may seem. Listen. All I ask is that you listen. Don't talk or do. Just hear me. And that's the reading, the sharing, the story for today. I wish you a wonderful day. Lots of love.